Hello friends, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. You are watching day 10 of our 12 Days of Christmas in July series. Now, if you're just getting started, you can check in the description for links for the first 9 days so you can get caught up. And if you're new around here, welcome. I hope you will consider hitting that subscribe button to join our crafty little family. For today's project, we're going to be making this budget-friendly wallet fold folio, and so we're going to be using the 12 days of Christmas paper collection from Paper Studio. It has this fun flap with a string and charm closure. There are tip-ins, flip outs, all the things, and then inside this wallet is full of folded inserts and tags to fill with all of your holiday memories and pictures. So stick with me and we will make this together. So I've got this Paper Studio 12 Days of Christmas paper crafting kit. I picked this up along with a few of the other items from the series from Hobby Lobby. Back in Easter, we were camping. We don't have a Hobby Lobby near our house, so the only time I get to go is when we go to the campground. So this is one of the items that I selected, and I wanted to see how far I could get with this one kit. It does contain pattern paper. It does have chipboard elements. I didn't use any of those. It had die cuts and some stickers and then some frames here as well. I wanted to see how far I could get with the kit, and my intention was to make that envelope flip book that I mentioned 2 days ago in our series, but the problem was I realized when I was going to be creating the pages with the envelopes that the directional paper was going to be upside down, so we would have upside down cars and trees, and that wasn't going to work. And I realized that I was going to have to adhere it to a card base and not make the pages from the paper. That's okay. So what we're going to do today is use this crafting kit. You see, I do have quite a bit left of this, so there will be more projects in the future made from it. And we're going to create a wallet style folio. So the base is going to be created with this one sheet of 12 by 12, 110 pound cardstock. I'm going to show you my score lines here and then what I'm going to clip out. So you can see that the portion I'm removing is going to be used later as the pocket sides. But what I want to do is I want to add this to my full-size scoreboard, and I want to put my first score in at 2.5 inches. And then I want to put the next score in at 2 3/4. So this portion on this side is going to be my pocket, and then the 1/4 inch is going to be the depth of the pocket. So then I'm going to add to that, I'll just slide that over to the 3 mark so it'll be easier to see where I'm going. I'm going to add 5 inches to that. So this is going to be the height of the book, and then I'm going to add a 1/2 inch to that so that I can have the flap over the top covering the fullness of the book. And then this is going to be the last score here. So I have 2.5, 1/4, 5, and 1/2. Then I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to score it at 5 3/4 and 1/2. So the width of my book is going to be 5 3/4, and the 1/2 in the middle is going to cover the depth of the pages inside. So what I'm going to do is show you that I'm going to come in and remove the portion that I have marked off, and you will make your flaps for the sides with this portion. So you'll be able to get the whole outside cover done here with just this one sheet. Cut along your score line. Be more careful than I am, just to make sure that you've got everything straight and square so your folio will fold up correctly. So I've removed that one whole chunk out of the top on the left hand side, and then I'm going to take out this center portion where it was scored. And like I said, you take a little more time and be more careful. This is just for getting us through this process. So what we've got now is 2 pages. Here is our spine. Let's start folding this so you can see. This is going to be the left hand side. It will open this way. This is going to be the top portion that folds over. So we've built in a little bit of room for all the bulk for those pages. And then each of these pockets will fold in and be 1/4 of an inch deep. Okay, before we put on the sides of our pockets, let's put the front panel on. So I decided I want to add one extra flip to this, and it will be held in place on the base of the book and then be closed by the flap. So this piece is 10 inches wide, 5 3/4, and then scored at 5, and I'm going to add it this way so that it will open, and then the top flap will hold it closed. This is easier to put on now instead of waiting for those pockets to be dimensional. And I'll just line that up here right on the corner. This is a pretty easy base to make, I think, because it doesn't involve too many pieces of paper and difficult math, which I am not a big fan of. See, now it will close in like that, and then it will open like this. So let's put our pockets sides on. Now I only want to put a side on the outside piece. I want this to stay open because it will be easier to add things to it. And from the piece that I took from this top corner, I cut 2 pieces that are 2.5 by 2 1/4. 2.5 is the height of the pocket, and then I want to put 1 inch on either side with that 1/4 inch in the middle, and that will fit that pocket perfectly. So I'll just do this one side here, holding it up right to that corner, and then go ahead and give it a good amount of pressure so that you get a good contact. And then do the same thing when you flip it up. I'm trying to show it for the camera and also for myself, so I hope I get this on straight, but when you're just working and not having to show this process, it goes much faster. So just hold this up and line up the base with that first score. So now you've got a pocket with one side, so it'll be easier to tuck things into here. I'll do the same thing for this side, and it might help to bring in your bone folder and just go ahead and reinforce that contact, so that'll be a nice sturdy pocket. So now what we have is, this is our cover, and then we'll have the front flap. This first portion will fold down, and then the whole wallet will open, and we've got 2 pockets inside to fill up with all of the inserts. Okay, let's finish the outside of the pocket first, and I'm going to alternate these patterns. I'm not going to be adding a cardstock border to them, just because I was hoping to work through this whole collection and see how far I could get without adding lots of additional items, just to see how far that would go. And so I'm going to line this up, and I've got these all cut with my regular border that I like. You don't need to add a border. It's just my personal preference. I think that the solid color helps to break up those busy paper patterns. And then I've got an alternating layer. So what I did after I cut all of my full-size pieces was come back in and see what was left that I could cut strips from. And this is just going to be a nice way to add a layering element without cutting into new paper. And there was quite a bit, because this is a 12 by 12 pack, and my inserts are like regular card size. So that was going to be a good way to get use out of those offcuts. So this border strip was part of the sticker sheet. I took all the stickers off that I wanted to use and added them to cardstock and cut them back out. That way I could move them around as I was deciding how my pages were going to go. And this worked out perfectly, because the strip that was here, this sticker strip, is not wide enough for the area that I want to add it, but I'm going to add another element over the top so I can disguise that cut edge underneath. And this is just really a nice finishing layer with this border, and it's easy just to go ahead and line that right on up to the cut edge, so everything will be on nice and straight. When I get to that point, I'll cover this cut edge, but let's continue working on the outside because it's easier to do that before it's filled up. I've got my paper here, and I cut this from the same strip, and my intention is to get it lined up for the cover because I want it to match from the base to this insert. Which way did that go now? This way. So I'm going to add this just to the portion that will fold down. So now when it's closed, you see it looks like it all lines up. That is perfect. Okay, put the back on here. And this doesn't have to line up to anything. For the inside of this front closure flap, I'm going to add more of that, and I can keep that lined up as I work along. And then I've got one more of those alternate layering patterns. And then I'll put this car right here. This is the best place for this because it is a large enough area and a kind of a focal point on the inside. This was one of the die cut pieces. So now when you open it, you'll see this. And then I do want to finish off the top of this a little bit with another one of the stickers. Just gonna line that up with the pattern. It makes that easier to get everything on straight. So here is that portion of the cover, and then this will fold down. Here's where I can bring in that car pattern that was giving me trouble for my envelope mini. So I'm gonna just add this same as I'm going along with all of my regular borders. And then the second piece, of course, will go up here. This is really sweet paper. And those red cars or trucks with the tree on it has become very iconic of Christmas holidays. While I'm working with my offcut strips, I want to just add a couple here. This is bringing in a little bit of extra interest and detail, but I'm not adding additional items. I'm just still working with that paper pack. And here's one for the top. Two more of the stickers here from that sheet, and I really like how they work well with that red on the car. So I'll put one here at the bottom and then one here at the top. So that's a nice way to finish off these, and our outside cover is done, except I want to add that layering element in our closure. So here is a long string of holiday twine. It's pink and red and white. And then one of the Tim Holtz Christmas tokens with the words stamped into it. So this is going to work to wrap around. What I want to do to get the correct placement is hold this token where I want it to fall. And then I'm going to wrap this around a few times to see how much I actually need of this twine. So I'm going to cut it about right here, and I'm just loop it over so that I can get two sides of that into some glue. And the element that's going to cover all that is one of the die cuts from the collection, and I put my foam on either side. I left a little area in the middle for that twine to go through so that it would sit flat. Add that right to the middle and press it down well. So now when my booklet is closed, I can just wrap this around, and my token's going to fall right there where I want it, and that will keep this closed. Let's go ahead and work on the inside now. Okay, you can see now that I have the inside finish. I just put my pattern paper in the back and then covered the pockets as well, and then blathered on nonsensibly about hobbies and crafting, because I thought my question of the day was going to be, if you could pick up one other hobby besides paper crafting, what would it be? And I was like, sewing machine, space. But I really would love to learn how to sew. I don't have the patience to learn to do it well. I can if I have to, but I am, so inspired by handcrafted quilts and that type of thing. I would love to know how to do that, but I just don't have the patience and the time and the resources to buy a new machine, and I don't have the storage for fabric and all that. But if I could pick up another craft, that would be it. Or baking. Ooh, baking would be fun. No, okay, I'm going to stick with sewing. You can let me know in the comments what other craft you would like to pick up or that you already have besides paper crafting. Just let me know. Okay, now that our base is finished on the inside, we can work on the inserts. And I'm just going to treat these as basically top folding cards, and because I like to have all of my layers showing around when I put things into a loaded pocket, I put my measurements for the first insert to be 5.5 by 4 3/4, so I'll have a nice border of the pattern paper from the background. I already finished these with the pattern paper just to keep this video not too long, and I'm going to cover the front with my layering papers here, and then top it with my other pattern. And then as an extra detail, I put more of those stickers on the cardstock so I could position them where I wanted. And this is going to finish the first folded insert. I have one for either side, and I finished this one off camera just to keep us rolling along. So here is the first insert going in. This next one is the same size, but I have alternated the prints so that I could get a different look on the front. Topping it with that pretty buffalo check, pretty doily for the middle. Then I'm going to have a pair of these die cut ornaments, just kind of offset to fill that area. And then I've got my second card here, same on the inside and the back, but I just have the other ornament die that was in the collection. I'll put these right in the pockets as well. So to get a better layered look for this next card, I'm just going to do a regular A2 size, so it's 4 1/4 by 5.5, and here is the back and the inside finished already. Putting on this front piece. That was a very unintentional lining up of that pattern, but if it makes me look like I know what I'm doing, I'm going to go with it. All right, so my layering pattern is going on the top. Then I've got another one of those stickers. There is going to be a lot of room on the inside to finish with all the pictures and fun mementos. So this one is finished. Here is the companion. You can see now how not having this side closed is making it much easier for me to tuck all these pieces in. Okay, want to address the front of these pockets and have them a little bit extra fancier. So I pulled the tags from the ephemera kit that was in this craft kit, and I'm gonna just finish off with layering more of the ephemera pieces on. This was one of the stickers. It's a little bit wider, so I'll just clip off the excess once I get it positioned. Here is a pretty tree and a cute skater. Wish I had more of this. For this tag, I have another border for the bottom. This one has a pine cone motif with some dots. Because this one is a little bit darker and the focal image is darker, I'm going to layer on this very tiny little white doily and then add this deer. I've already glued on the candy cane so I can move on to my border, and I'm just going to use this pretty red border. I think that matches very well. Okay, so the first two are going on the front of the pockets. So I put my adhesive only on the bottom portion where it will fall onto the pockets so we don't accidentally seal it up. I'm just going to go ahead and line that up with the bottom one for this side as well. I created a couple of tags with the extra offcuts of the buffalo check. I put the 110-pound cardstock as a core, finished one side with the plaid and the other side with the more green looking plaid, and I'm going to tuck these in here because I like that extra layering effect, and then it also gives me more room to finish off the inside. This set had this beautiful wreath tag as well. I'm going to put that in here. This is a good place for journaling because you can write directly on the back. And then my extra candy cane tag is going on this side. So I can close this up and show you just how nice and thick and chunky that got. It's very full, it's very heavy, and it is very sturdy. So that is all for our folio for today. Now, this was created with that budget paper crafting kit from Hobby Lobby. If you go check them out, there was a couple of different varieties, and some had elements like chipboard or ephemera or stickers, and a different combination for each of the kits that were there. So you will have many options once you go looking. And then you definitely do not need to make this a budget folio. You could make a new collection if you have that, like Simple Stories or Echo Park like I've been using. Just be aware of the amount of space that you have in that pocket to fill up, because you don't want to overfill this. It will not close properly if you do that. But you can definitely add flowers and other trimming if you enjoy that. Put them around so it won't get caught on the string, but you'll definitely have a very nice finished project if you just stick with the paper crafting kit as it is. So I only added a little bit of string here and that charm and a couple of doilies. Otherwise, all of it came from that kit. And so I think this was a lot of fun to create, and I'm sort of happy that my original plan for that collection didn't work out because I really like this one. So that's it for day 10. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you come back tomorrow for day 11. Leave me a comment and a big thumbs up for this tutorial. Remember, you can find links in the description for the product I used today, as well as our social media sites. If you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye.